Hello, everybody, and welcome to the second vignette of Somebody's Heroes. I'm Eric, I'm the Dungeon Master.
Hi, I'm Kate, the Great Cosplays. I am playing Miasyn.
Fantastic. So, Miasyn, you've been alive for quite a while, haven't you?
Yeah, just a little bit.
Okay. So, the current campaign is going to start in the year 2025 of the Modern Reckoning. We're going to jump back in time for you. Quite a ways. We're going to jump back, about right around 1,500 years ago. You've been around for a while. You've been Guardian Miasyn for a while, guarding the people, if I'm not mistaken. You're a guardian of the common folk. You protect the common folk from things that may distress them, is the way I'll put this for the moment. In fact, as you're walking through the woods one day, off in the distance, because your perception's pretty good, right? You'd say your passive perception's at least a 15 or higher.
My passive perception is an 18.
Perfect. Fantastic. So you are seeing through tree lines and stuff a winter owlbear as it stands up on its back legs, which you know it only does when attacking, because you've been around the block for a while, especially up here in the winter woods of where you're from, up here in the north. You see it stand up, take its giant paw, and smack as you see a pale orc, an actual white orc, almost albino looking, just go flying back and smack against a tree. And he just falls to the ground. And you hear in the distance other people start communicating battlefield tactics about taking down this owlbear. What are you going to go ahead and do as you're hearing this fight happening probably about 300-400 feet away?
I will approach.
Okay.
And what this adventuring party sees is a winter eladrin with blue skin that is frosted over, like icicles are just permanently on her face. She has white hair that is braided in 2 braids across the top, not quite like the wig I'm wearing today. And she wears a robe of blue and white that is soft for the elements of the frozen north that she protects, and a amulet of this very reflective blue. And she will approach this adventuring party.
Okay.
Smile on
In
her
the time
face.
in the time it takes for you to get all the way there, because 400 feet's a while for even Miasyn to walk.
Give them a chance to start themselves. It's important to her that if they are in real danger, if she saw that this adventurer who was pushed away is dying, then she will make sure that he is healed first. But she doesn't want to take this moment from them. She wants to support them in this moment.
Yep. So there's an elven bard who's back in the back playing a tune, a jaunty tune. That orc you saw wipes the blood from his mouth. Is that all you've got, you fucking bear? And runs back at him, no weapons in hand, and just grabs on the back of this thing and tries to put it in a chokehold. As, like, this paladin figure, you can tell it's a she because she's got that nice long traditional braid for the north, and she just takes a two-handed greatsword and just tries to go right up through the gut, and misses, pulls it back around and comes back for another strike, hits that time, and just shunk right up in the belly, right up under the sternum. You can tell it's a good hit as you're kind of like hiding behind this tree that's outside of the clearing where they're fighting, so that you're there, you can watch, but you're not interfering. But it's just this party of three.
Support. If they need me, I will support, but I want them to have this moment to themselves.
Of course. You wouldn't be much of a guardian if you came in and kill steal all the time. Oh, the damage dealt was perfect. 2 6s on a great sword. Just thunk straight up in the sternum. And this the half-orc just got it grappled. Just thunk, and the beast stumbles back, falls back onto that orc who was grappling it from its back, and he's like, "Is it dead?" As he's not sure, because just because it fell doesn't mean they're dead. And he slowly but surely just chokes the life out of this thing, and you can see its beady little eyes lose life. You're not a druid, but you've hung around a druid for a while. One of your closest comrades was a druid in ages past, and so you know when nature is dead.
I can also sense it.
However, one thing you do sense that they don't know is that the mate is coming up fast. They're sitting and celebrating.
Just
Are you gonna do anything about this?
So, knowing that they just had this victory and also seeing that they are bloodied from it, and sensing that the mate that is approaching is beyond what their party is currently able to handle, as the mate comes into view, I will throw a hold monster.
Fantastic. What is the DC on that?
My DC is a wisdom save 19.
Okay, pulling up Owlbear real quick. Pretty sure it's gonna fail, but it's only got a +1. Nice. Yeah, that's a 9. Didn't stand a chance without a crit, basically.
So I imagine that maybe they hear the owlbear roar and they turn and realize that they are in danger, and then, as you just did on camera, it freezes.
It just freezes with its mouth open, about to bite its beak open, about to bite that orc. The orc turns around and sees the tongue and the throat of this owl bear inches from his face.
And this is only for a moment that this lasts. It's a minute long. So I will step out at this point and I will say, you all did an excellent job in that battle. Allow me to help with this one. And with a wave of my hand, I will just I'd like to I'll charm monster on this owlbear.
Okay.
So that's another wisdom 19.
Yeah, that's a 10 on the die. So, nope.
Right. And that one lasts for an hour. So I will approach the owlbear, still held, because that is concentration and charm. A monster is not.
Love it.
So I will approach the owlbear and say, I am sorry for your loss today. But as you know, this is the way of nature. There is always the risk when one attacks that they will not be the one to make it out of the battle. Go on with your own life and find your peace. And I will release the hold on the charmed monster and send them off.
Its beak was still inches from the face, even though it put its paw down. It just...
I'm standing in between, or as close as I can.
It looks at you. As it just starts to bound away back towards its den, which is not far away at all, which is the reason Mama attacked, and now the mate attacked too, because the cub and the den is not far.
I turn to this adventuring party and I will say, come with me. We will go to a safer place nearby where you can heal, you can rest. Tell me about your adventures so far, and tell me where you go next. I would love to hear your stories.
The orc is like, what one moment, ma'am, and pulls, like, you can tell he like pulls his pants out just a second to make sure he didn't piss himself. He didn't, but he's because he's a barbarian, right? But he is one of those who just had to fucking double check, and he's not shy about nothing. Oh no, we're good. And the no, fight, no talk. And the paladin kneels down beside the owlbear and thanks it for a glorious fight, and draws a rune for their deity in the air real quick, as like a Christian would with the cross, right?
Do
Just
I
like,
recognize the rune that they make?
give me a religion check.
All right. 16.
Absolutely. You do recognize this one. It is... Where is... It is...
And I think while they're doing this, I'm going to cast, I'll cast a Phantom Steed for myself.
Okay.
So it's this, like, icy reindeer type,
Oh,
or like
cool.
great elk that comes to me to ride. And I will turn to the rest of the party, and I will say to them, if you'd like, I can help. I can take one of you on my steed and 3 of you to fly. Perhaps some of you might be able to carry the others.
It's only a 3-person party, so...
Oh, yeah.
There's only 3 of them in the first place. But the rune you recognized was for Auril, the goddess of winter. Auril.
Thank you.
And you, she lifts her head after finishing the ritual prayer real quick, and stands up, looks at you. Real quick, you make yourself well known. of being a
Yes.
thing. Your face is
Yes.
not unknown in these parts. Yes?
I believe an adventuring party in the frozen north would well know of the Guardians and Guardian Miasyn.
Alright, DC 10?
There.
Perfect. That's an 18. She fucking knows you. And she stood up with her greatsword, puts it on her back, looks at you up on your steed, and kneels again. Just up down,
Yeah.
up down, up down.
I will say, there is no need to kneel to me. You give your reverence to nature and to Oral, not
But
to me.
Guardian Miasyn, you saved us.
And you saved each other. I did no more for you than you did for yourselves.
We would have died otherwise. We had no idea he was that second one was coming.
And you will learn.
So
And I'm
thank
happy to
you.
teach you what I can.
And she stands up. She gives you this full bow, kneeled, like she normally she would just kneel and stay straight up, just
Yeah.
nodded, but this time she puts her hand on her shoulder and just gives you an actual bow while kneeling. And the bar just in the back is just picking a tune.
I will dismount of my steed and walk up to this paladin and lift them from standing. What is your name?
Olandra.
Alondra. It is so good to meet you, Alondra. And when I open my hand, there is a coin, a token, that I have placed in Alondra's. And this would also be known to Alondra with an 18 roll as a token of the Guardian. And I will say to Alondra, if you should need me again, press this token and think it. If I am able to, I will come to your call.
Blessings of Oral unto you. This is the grandest gift of all.
The grandest gift of all is what you and I give to our friends and to each other. The chance to tell more stories together.
But oh, okay.
If you would like to repay me, come back with me now. There is a place of safety and refuge nearby where we may talk. You may tell me of your own tales.
Of course,
I can
the
tell you some
village
of mine
just
if
north
you'd
of
like.
here.
Let
Of
us go.
course, there's a village just north. We just came from there. These owl bears were attacking people.
Then you have done a great service not only to your friends, but also to the village. Let us all go there to celebrate.
Of course, my lady. She closes up, puts the coin into a pouch, and this bard just picks his tooth and says, "Well, so you're that Miasyn chick they're all talking about round here, huh?"
I am in fact Miasyn, yes.
He's got olive skin, which is not you usually here in the north. Olive skin, jet black hair tied up in a ponytail. You can tell he's from not around these parts, somewhere a lot warmer.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, I don't understand what the big deal is. All you do is go around, save a couple people, and people love you for some reason.
You are right. There is no big deal. I am just here as me, doing my best to protect. Just as
Thanks,
you are, it seems.
thanks for helping fight No Talk. He he appreciates the living part. I'm sure he'll keep on living now that you stop him from getting eaten by that owl.
I appreciate that too. Come, let's away.
And they follow you about an hour north. It's an easy walk. It's not that far because it was somewhere that the owl bears could easily go threaten.
And as we walk, I'm definitely asking them to share with me, what their stories are, why they've been adventuring, what it is that they seek, what it is that they've learned. I am listening and gathering all of their stories and all of their knowledge.
And they're sharing openly with you. Nothing is super hidden. Fight no talk. Doesn't talk much. He tells you about a couple of things he killed that were kind of cool, but
Absolutely.
The bard tells you that he is from the jungle to the south. He actually just refers to it as, I'm from Algamoth. We got some critters down there. Killed a couple of condors before I came up here, and there's some bad shit in that wood. I wouldn't recommend it.
Well,
although they got some pretty people the further south you go. Some I think they're called Asimar or some shit. I don't know. I never went down that far.
Oh, interesting. Asimar down south. Where did you hear of these stories if you have not been there yourself?
My granddad told me.
Did your granddad see them for himself?
That's quite a while back in his reckoning. He can't tell for sure. It was before the meteor. Before that meteors created that sea. That Zephyr Sea down there.
Might be
cut us off
interesting.
from the west.
Of course.
Because you would remember that just before you were born, maybe about 100 years, or 100 to 200 years before you were born, at the year 0 of the modern reckoning, the celestial skies, so to speak, back with the heavens, opened up and meteors came down. Specifically, 5 really, really big ones. The 3 largest struck what was a central plain and created what is now known as the Zephyr Sea. Two of the 2 smaller ones hit off in the mountain range further west, but you're not too sure what happened over there. You just know they hit, right?
Mm-hmm.
Those stories haven't quite reached you at this point. But yeah, so a couple of key things to note there for early Miasyn knowledge. But you guys go further north, and you guys go to the Sleepy Hollow of Ice Cove. This is a small village, maybe 50, 100 people tops, which is why an owl bear threat was so real for them, right? And they see these 3 heroes right there, now heroes, but these 3 adventurers alongside you. They shut down the city. Not city because it's only 50 people, but they shut down. It's noon and they shut everything down. They close up shop for the day and they throw a festival in everyone's honor. Everyone praising you. The people who have a little bit of frost magic are shooting little icicles into the air, and all kinds of fun little woohoo party.
When they praise me, I smile and do a slight redirect and say, "It was my honor to help these new brave heroes of the day." And also just try to elevate the new heroes as well.
Of course.
Well, of course, accepting the praise.
Right? Not gonna turn it down. You are a Guardian Miasyn after all. It is partly your job.
Yes. The ever humble, but well known and well loved guardian.
Yes. a very young, small elf. Child. Like maybe 10. Actual 10. Like not even elven 10.
Yes.
Like
yes.
Actual 10 years old. Comes up to you as you're stopped at one point. Just tugs on your pant leg. Because you're still on your on your reindeer at this point.
I will absolutely dismount the reindeer. I feel like if I was walking among the people, I would walk among them. I would not want to
It's
be
right
elevated.
before you do that, right? This is right as you're realizing what everyone's doing, and it's shutting down, and everyone's coming out to greet you, and you are truly among them, right?
I will dismount, and I will lower myself, bend down, so I am at a better eye level height to the child.
I made this doll. Here.
I will take the doll.
That's it. On a scale of 1 to 10, let's see how good it is. Hang on. It's a 9. It's a pretty good doll. It looks just like you. It's made of a rare pale blue herb that grows in the area.
Mm-hmm.
It's called icicle herb. It's a numbing agent that's used. You would know it from hanging out with your druid friend.
Yes.
And it got actual white hairs from an elder in the village that they used to make hair pretty accurately to yours.
Yeah.
So in other words, she grew up on stories of you.
Yes.
And is finally getting to meet you. And made this for you.
I accept the doll.
Okay, bye. And she just runs away.
I let her go. I smile after her.
You see her talking with a group of 12 other kids. Like, I met her! I met Guardian Miasyn! You did it! Teasing all of her friends. It's adorable little exchange that you're watching. It's what you would expect from 10-year-olds, right? Like, hee hee! I met the Miasyn! I met the Miasyn!
I will walk up behind her at this point.
Okay.
The Miasyn is quite interesting, but Guardian Miasyn will do just fine. And I am happy for all to meet me. As I am
Guardian's
just as
longer
happy...
to say. Guardian's a lot harder to say in a really long word. The Miasyn, we met the Miasyn. They're all chanting it at this point.
And I have met all of you, and what a joy that has been.
Roll a perception check for me.
I have to roll.
As you're looking around at the rest of this crowd that seems to have gathered.
What die do I trust? Let's go. That is not very high. That's a 12, but my passive perception is an 18, and I also know all of the mines that are around me.
You detect the 75 or so mines you would expect. However, from counting, you count 76.
And does this mind maybe appear as a bit more intellectually advanced than the other minds around?
Only because you can't detect them.
Understood.
The only way you can't detect them is if they have non-detection or some other high-level magic cast upon them.
So, I would know, possibly, if there is non-detection, and that will throw it off, the distance and direction towards this mind.
So what it is you don't physically see who they are, but you can tell that it's like you can tell they're there because of the nothingness that's there.
Yes, there's a gap.
Yeah, there's a gap where there shouldn't be. And
I'm going to start just wandering the crowd and trying to see who I can visually see, but not mentally see.
so you get up to a spot, and you see a brown-haired male elf with a wooden staff on his back. Just swish his cloak and wander off into the woods. And where he goes, that gap follows.
I am absolutely going to follow.
Okay.
And while I go, yeah, I'm just going to follow for now.
Okay. Turns into a snowy owl and flies away.
I don't want them to fly away though. I am going to cast.
This gives you the clue, because there's only one figure you've met who favors a snowy owl. Druids aren't commonly choosing snowy owls. Plus, it takes a lot for someone to pick it takes a good, strong druid to be able to take a form that can fly like that. You know, because you've been around a druid who could. And in fact, once he found the form of the snowy owl, tended to favor it. And that would explain why you can't detect who they are. But it's also a little weird, because through your link, you should be able to. In fact, recognize them as if they are yourself, almost.
And why wouldn't they want to talk to me today?
Correct. You gonna wander a little deeper into the woods and try and follow the path that this owl took?
Oh, not only follow the path, I'm going to fly after this owl.
You're gonna fly after the owl! Fan-fucking-tastic. Third level flight, just...
Yes.
Fabulous. The owl takes you to a treehouse. You have to cast your spell a couple more times, but it doesn't bother you with your high level of magic. It doesn't bother you at all to follow. You continue on and you follow him till he takes you to a treehouse. One that you immediately recognize as a secret place for only you and him. He lands and transforms back into his humanoid form and tucks away into the treehouse.
I would knock at the door, knowing full well that they know that I followed them. I'm still going to knock. It's a polite thing to do. And I'll knock and say, "May I come in?"
Why, of course, my dear.
Does this sound like him?
I'm gonna say roll a perception.
Insight?
Because it's been a while since you've heard him.
Could it be insight?
Sure, that works. I was trying to think of something and I couldn't figure it out. So I'm like, yeah, just wisdom, and you said insight, so that works.
That's a 30.
Yes. Yes. It sounds like him, but you can tell there's a difference in the tone of the way he said "my dear" that doesn't resonate with his usual.
No. That's what threw Kate off too.
Mm-hmm.
There was something more sinister in that, my dear.
Mm-hmm.
Um,
And he meant it. Oh, the slight,
yeah.
my dear.
Miasyn is going to cast Mage Armor on herself and
Okay.
activate um, her abjuration wards that come with the spell as such.
Okay.
Um,
Bulk your HP up to like 80. Or whatever.
and she will open the door,
Okay.
but she will not step in just yet.
You see him. You haven't seen him in a couple 100 years. Since you guys took the deal. He left to go west and see what was out there because he heard of a place called the Ancient Grove. And it seemed interesting. But you felt your calling was to stay here and be a protector for these people.
The Guardian of the Frozen North.
Mm-hmm. And he is the guardian of the Ancient Grove.
I will say, it is good to see you, but also quite curious.
Curious how, my dear?
I was not expecting to see you here tonight, nor to be led away like this.
It's not my fault you follow.
It is always your fault I follow.
Is it, though?
Hmm?
Is it, though? Or is
I
it yours
suppose
for
not.
being so damn curious?
I suppose the choice to follow is always my own. But you knew, for certain, that I would follow you, and no one else. So what is
Why,
it you want, stranger?
stranger? That's a fun way to talk to me, of all people. As he takes a sip of a glass that it was there before, but didn't look like it had liquid in it previously. Does now, but didn't before.
It would be an interesting way to talk to you if you were, in fact, you. I'd like to drop the pretense. Who am I speaking to? And then I shall not call you stranger.
You are always insightful, weren't you, my love? As he stands up, grows about 2 feet from the about 5'2" or 5'3" that he was before.
Short king.
Yeah. Grows to be right around 7 foot tall. His features don't change. He just grows proportionally. And then starting from his feet, actually, you start to see a black cloak just start to form as this illusion spell dissipates. And you see a figure in a black cloak, but you can't see anything under anything. Like, it's just you can see the face. If you were to look at the face, it's just black.
Yes.
Like, normally from your height, you can see up under hoods about 7 foot tall. You
Yes.
can't. There is nothing there to see that you can tell, even with passive perception or anything. Nothing. And the figure lifts his hand. He can't see his hands, but he lifts the sleeves of his cloak and puts them together and says, "Well, you are perceptive indeed, and very insightful. Are you not?"
It seems you know much more about me than I know about you.
Of course. Remember the letter you received that sent you and your party after your final battle, the one that granted you the blessings of the gods,
Indeed,
as
I
the
do.
story goes.
Stories are quite powerful things.
Indeed. Well, you see, that was a test, and I'm very glad you passed. That thing would have otherwise destroyed everything up here. All this beautiful white snow would have become nothing more than ash and dust. So congratulations on defeating it.
I think if there is a pause in the conversation, she will
There was.
say, yeah, so she will say, the congratulations of the people mean very much to me, for I know who they are and what they value, what they love, what they stand for. And I know when they thank me, it is sincere. You, I cannot say your words mean much to me now. And again, you have brought me here, so I will ask, for the last time, what do you want?
Well, your acquaintance, your friend, your love, informed me that you would be the one who would be the most appropriate for the seat I have in mind. I have attempted a device with which to learn as much as I can, and as much as they can, about the creatures and beings and histories of this continent of Torsamil. Having been here for several hundred years myself, it is a hard task to acquire all of that knowledge. And your love recommended that you be quite well suited to this task, as I am gathering a fellowship of like-minded individuals who seek to encourage this continent to grow in very careful ways, so as not to repeat mistakes made by the past. Does that sound like you?
You want me on this council of like-minded individuals.
Of course.
I will have to meet and know the individuals whose minds I might be alike. Yours is quite noticeably shielded.
Of course it is. Can't be having anyone prying into my mind without my consent. And consent
Would you
takes a few hundred years to acquire from me. My mind is very carefully guarded.
I will need to have certain assurances before I am to make any deals. I will need to verify certain things before I am to make any deals. My duty and my loyalty, first and foremost, belong to the people and belong to my fellow guardians. I will hear more of your offer. I will learn more of the people who have accepted or are being considered. I will take my time to get to know them, as you say you take your own time to let others get to know you. And we shall see.
Why, of course. I would expect nothing less from one so well blessed. Your insight detects a very slight sarcastic tone. But in the people that you will be meeting won't be around quite as long as you. This council will of course change over the decades, centuries. As an elf, you have many years left to live. Especially as one blessed by the Ice Queen herself.
You have not given me a name or a title that I might know you by. Who are you?
You can call me the Founder. As I am the founder of this council, it is appropriate.
I shall get to know you, Founder. I shall get to know the others on this council, and I shall check in with mine and my own.
Of course, this is only a periodic meeting of minds every so often, because the other rest of the time, most of the council goes out and they make the changes that they decide need made, and manipulate things and massage the world to their choice. So you're free to do what you need. There's no rush. And he pops up open into midair, it seems. A brooch in the shape of a raven. Wings spread. You need only take this to confirm your acceptance. If you need it written out, you see right next to it a parchment with the deal you guys just made, literally verbatim. Miasyn said, founder said. Miasyn said, founder said. It's like a written transcript of the conversation.
If it
Not
ever says
manipulated
Miasyn,
or legalese.
if it ever just says Miasyn on the paper, I will want that amended to Guardian Miasyn.
You see it immediately mended as you make that note to him. I apologize, Guardian Miasyn.
One of many apologies you owe me for beginning our communication as a deception. However,
Your love recommended it, I may add.
I have a hard time believing he would have recommended quite this deception, but I shall check in with him to see. I believe this could potentially be a beginning for us, or at least a trial.
Of course. And as he says, of course, you see him disappear in a burst of shadows. And he just disappears. You're left alone in this treehouse. What is going through Miasyn's mind as this whole thing just went down?
So she would immediately cast Sending to the other Guardians, and she would want to gather them together as soon as possible, not in this location, but in another one of their secure spots.
Because it's obviously compromised.
And she would make sure to set up all of her abjuration wards around it. She would want to discuss what happened here, possibly first just with her love, and then with the others, to verify the truth of it.
Fantastic.
And if it does turn out to be true, does it?
In your conversation with your love, he does confirm that was the recommendation. The founder took it a little bit in a different course than he said, But the gist is basically that, yes, he said use the treehouse, get her there, snowy owl, works perfect.
Yeah. Then, from there, she would do her research on the founder, reach out in the ways that she does to
Mm-hmm.
find what knowledge exists, if any, of the founder of the raven symbol that she was given. She would meet the others that are already part of this deal. And after doing her diligent research and gathering,
Mm-hmm.
she will accept the seat.
I'm assuming that would take probably about 100 years, right?
What is 100 years to her, though?
Right? What is 100 years to someone who lives quite as long as Guardian Miasyn? And I feel like that is a good spot to end for the night.